Thanks for making the time to be here. I am very, very honored to be standing before you to tackle a very interesting topic. When it was assigned to me, I had to think and then think again. Because in essence, here are two components that we need to step through. Number one is cloud and cloud scalability. Number two is AI. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're not already dabbling with AI, you're falling behind, whether you like it or not. About a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I have two teenage daughters. They were doing a party for their high school, and they were given a challenge. There was a boys' team and a girls' team. They were given a challenge to come up with a song or a rap that has them using, they're called rhinos, that's the school team name, that has the words rhino in their school in it. And these absolutely brilliant teenagers whipped out their phones, whipped out ChatGPT, and jigged up a rap. I was super impressed. I was jealous, but I was super impressed. These guys are ahead of us. I've been in technology 20 plus years, and every time I see what they're doing with it, I get very, very intrigued. So here is what we'll be stepping through. I will do a quick introduction of who I am, the organization I come from. We'll double a little bit about being in the cloud, and the speaker before me did spend some time on that, so you may hear me repeat some of the things that we talked about. We'll share some success stories of early adopters as far as cloud technology is concerned. I think it's always important to kind of reflect back and see what's happened. Look at getting an understanding of what it means to be in the cloud, start bringing in the topic of AI and cloud, working AI. And then I'm a risk guy. Everything that I do, I look at the risk of execution around those things. So I will close out my discussion on some of the complexities that you need to pay attention to. Good. The organization I work for is Sirianu Limited. We are a Pan-African organization based out of here in Nairobi with operations throughout the region, with offices in Botswana. We are probably better known for the annual report that we do. It's listed on the right-hand side of your screen. Those reports are absolutely free, download from our website, and they're non-technical in nature. I know this room is full of techie people, but this conversation around that, I think, is a good, easy read that allows you to just stop your way through it. You cannot do cybersecurity as an island, so we do have some critical partnerships as listed there in AfroSci, Palladium Networks, who were recently acquired. They're now going by the name of Atos. And then USIU, who is our research partner. We do a lot of research and release all kinds of reports. As I mentioned, we have operations throughout the region. One of the things that I did not get a chance to include here is a new role that I'm quite excited about. I am working providing CISO services to Kingdom Bank. Any people here who are customers of Kingdom Bank? Any Kingdom Bank members here? Whether you're big or small, the need for cybersecurity is front and center. And Kingdom Bank is not small when you consider all the operations, but by comparison with all other organizations, they are pretty large. Good. So let's get into the conversation itself. I'm recapping on information that I think had already been shared. Years ago, cloud was the new buzzword, just like the way AI is the buzzword now. In the mid-2000s, everyone was talking about it. Everyone was fascinated about being in the cloud. Those that adapted early saw some significant growth, right? Saw some very interesting acceleration of their businesses, acceleration of how they operate. Cloud computing has made significant impact on modern computing. It has improved accessibility. It has made it easier for you to launch different type of applications and services, host websites, and so on and so forth. And that acceleration, that impact on modern computing continues. Those who are in it right now see a significant amount of growth in the way their businesses operate. So why be on the cloud? Rather than obvious reasons, but let me restate them. Scalability. I can grow fast. For those of you who have been charged with the responsibility of fueling the growth of the business, appreciate the difficulty of technology, acquiring the servers, bringing up the systems, and so on and so forth. Having something, and I'll put it in quotes, that you can just point and grow your capability, that is fantastic. Flexibility. If you experience a burst of business during a certain time of the year and you need to quickly scale up, cloud gives you that option. Operational burden. Again, allow me to put that in quote. Because while on one hand, it appears you do not need to have the same overall headaches of what you need to do so as to maintain an in-house server room, data center, one that you're paying for that is co-located, your operational burden just simply changes. But for argument's sake, it reduces it. Small and medium-sized businesses, many of them have their foundation, their technology stack foundation on the cloud. As we said earlier on, the initial cost of setup is low. The idea of pay as you go sounds attractive, isn't it? I only pay for what I need. Wow, sounds good. So from an operational perspective, that speed of deployment, that getting it up and running sounds very, very good. It's something that every one of us would want to get into it. So let's talk about the history around cloud. Those who have been very successful with it. Netflix, back in 2008. I do remember Netflix having a very interesting initial model. Netflix came in to compete with Blockbuster. Blockbuster were a company that you would go into the store and rent out a video, a DVD or whatever. Netflix made that easier in that they would send it to you in the mail. And then you would watch your 2-3 movies and then you would send it back. They started simple. And in a very short while, they scaled. Netflix is a behemoth right now for something that has been around since the mid-2000s. Dropbox. How many of you have an online storage where you store your pictures, your contacts, your files, and so on and so forth? It's easy, connected to your laptop. You can access it from your mobile device. At the heart of them is a cloud infrastructure. It has enabled Dropbox to grow with a few thousand users to 700 million plus users across the globe. Let's bring it local. We talk about Jumia, largest e-commerce platform within Africa, migrated its infrastructure to the cloud to support its expansion across Africa. Twiga Foods, and I know we can debate back and forth about Twiga Foods, but fact of the matter is they did revolutionize food supply chain, and they built that off a Google platform. Instagram, 2010 to present, 30 million users within 2 years of launching. They were acquired, say it with me, $1 billion. 2012, just 2 short years after they launched. So there's plenty of evidence that cloud computing has contributed both in launching of a business as well as rapidly scaling. Just to recap what we already said, scalability and elasticity. Business can easily scale up or down based on their demand. Cost efficiency, I put it in quotes once again, pay as you go. Companies only pay for resources that they actually use. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting in quote because if you're actively using this, you may have had the experience where your costing just balloons. You go from spending $2,000, $3,000 a month to $15,000 a month to $25,000 a month. We'll touch on this in understanding your data and how your data flows through your environment and that how potentially it impacts that cost. But from a startup perspective, it makes sense. From a scaling perspective, it makes sense. It launches well. Accessibility and flexibility supports multiple devices and platforms, ensuring seamless user experience. So let's get into AI. Where are the synergies? Is there a link between cloud computing and AI? As a very blanket statement, cloud technology provides the infrastructure, computing power, storage needed to train and deploy AI models. Those of you who have messed around with DeepSeek may debate with me on that one a little bit. But truth of the matter, at the heart of it, at the bottom side of running AI, is some form of a cloud infrastructure to power it and power it well. So what does that mean? How do you work AI? Enabling automation. When we came towards the middle or end part of last year as a business, we made one very distinct decision as an organization. We must automate. As I mentioned before, the organization I work for does security operations. We have teams working 24/7. And there's a lot of mundane activity that happens on a day in, day out basis. Day in meaning eyes on the screen, see an alert, react to it. Generate a daily report, generate a weekly report, generate a monthly trend report, and so on and so forth. It becomes apparent that it's important that you need to automate. AI is a fantastic tool for you to be able to do that. Look at your organizational processes, what is manual, what is digitized. Automate those ones that are repeatable, those ones that are mundane, those ones that can be done faster and more efficiently using this tool. Number two, make the cloud services smarter. Cloud providers use AI to optimize resource management such that they improve on security and improve on that automation of processes. And then combining the two to generate innovation in different types of tools like IoT and smart apps. AI and cloud together power smart applications, voice assistants, autonomous systems, and IoT. So how do you really work through unlocking AI? And as you can imagine, this is an extensive, long conversation. We can spend a lot of time on it. What I did was to try and just condense and capture what I think are by far 3 or 4 of the most important items. So I already talked about AI being a tool towards automation, the utilization of a chatbot to respond, for example, to customer queries, open account, respond to internal help desks questions, and so on and so forth. AI can be a fantastic tool for you to be able to begin that process of automation. Let it understand your process it. Let it begin to do it a little bit faster. Define business goals and AI use cases as another step of unlocking AI. If you do not understand the tool, it's very hard for you to be able to utilize it, isn't it? So you have to understand in what instances am I going to use this case? What are my use cases that I'm going to be able to utilize it? So identify key areas where AI can create the most impact from an efficiency perspective, from an automation perspective, from a customer experience perspective, from a revenue growth perspective. AI 100% depends on data, depends on quality data. How many of you have ever gone through a major migration? Core banking system. How shocked were you by how dirty your data is? Right? You know this is a required field, but it's not populated. It's just sitting there. So it's so very important that you have clean, structured, and accessible data. I think maintaining high quality data is a very difficult task. Data flows like water. Information is created on a consistent basis. And even though you think you've created all the controls around it, maintaining that in a way that is good and clean and usable at all times makes it a bit complicated. But listen to what I'm saying. Utilize the same AI to tell you, hey, this data is dirty. It's missing X, Y, and Z. I'm not able to make good decisions on it because of the way it's been set up. One of the things that I was very cautious to put here was the impact on humans. How many of you think that AI is going to take your job? Be serious. It has not crossed your mind that AI will take your job? Let's ask again. How many of you here have considered that AI would take your job? I'll advise you to take a book to read. It's titled Humans Are Underrated. The author in the first half of the book argues and defines that AI will do all jobs. Doctors, lawyers, judges, teachers, pastors, all jobs. There is nothing AI will not be able to do, ladies and gentlemen. And if you doubt it, watch that space. So number one, your employees, whether you like it or not, your staff members, whether you like it or not, look at this thing and say, "What? This thing can take my job, isn't it?" Which means we have to now inculcate a culture of understanding, wait a minute, if AI can take my job, what else can I do with it? The second half of that book talks about AI cannot be human. The human aspects are human. For example, ladies, stay with me for just a second. Gentlemen, if you walk into a restaurant, a bar, the park, the gym, church, and you see a lady smiling, and she seems to be smiling at you, do you automatically go talk to her? Yes and no. Because even if she's smiling, she hasn't told you can come over, right? AI would recognize that lady is smiling. AI would recognize, maybe I should go talk to her. The human in you will more than likely tell you, Apo siende. Don't go there, right? So you have to develop culture within your organization that embraces AI, that allows you to leverage AI as a tool. It says that we'll have two types of jobs as far as AI is concerned in the future. AI coders, the ones who build the AI agents to do A, B, and C, and AI drivers, the ones who drive the tool to do what you need it to do. So ladies and gentlemen, where are you placing yourself? How are you looking at putting AI to be able to satisfy that? Use AI for business forecasting and decision making. Sounds very academic, business class type of question, but it's actually a very good piece of information because AI can ingest a huge amount of data, both good and bad. Use AI for cybersecurity and fraud detection. This falls squarely in what I do. Its ability of being able to detect that Joseph Mathenge logged in via VPN on a Wednesday afternoon at 2 p.m. when he had said an email saying, "I'm out." Something's wrong. There's nothing wrong with Joseph Mathenge logging in at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday, right? Sounds perfectly fine. To scale a business with AI, companies should focus on automation, predictive analytics, personalization, security, and continuous learning. The key is to start with small AI-driven solutions and gradually expand AI capabilities across the organization. I want to take the last few minutes to quickly step through the complexity of working with this. Deploying technologies can be complex, period. Whether they are AI-driven or just everyday technology, that tends to be a mess. Reskilling internal teams to manage technology in the cloud or hiring new team members with the skills needed to drive this thing becomes complex, right? Whether it is cloud or AI, you need unique skill set for it. Cost management, I put my quotes when I talked about this. Startup costs may be low, but not having an effective understanding of how your organization data flows can lead to a significant cost and they just balloon. You must pay attention to compliance, to data privacy, to data security. The ODPC will come after you if indeed you're misusing citizens' data. It may require re-architecture of your overall existing infrastructure and how you're able to do it. We talked about data and data being critical to AI. The importance of solid data when integrating AI into operations cannot be overstated. And then ethical concerns. I know you all hesitant as you put up your hand, but it's true. We do have some concern on saying, how is this thing working, right? Is it providing a biased opinion? You probably have heard the term about AI hallucinating, giving answers that it just came up with. AI cannot succeed if it delivers biased output. Companies must build bias identification and mitigate it throughout the AI lifecycle. Job loss and workforce disruption. AI can potentially replace human jobs. Customer service agents being replaced by chatbots was the easiest example that I could come up with. You need to work on reskilling your people and making sure they're at a place where they're able to do it. And then, of course, AI-powered cybercrime. We have heard of stories around deepfakes, people getting into conference calls with a person they think it's the chief financial officer and transferring money, only to later on realize that it wasn't true. And in closing, AI is not just futuristic. It is a powerful tool. Integrating AI with cloud, you can scale faster, optimize on operations, create personalized experience like never before. Use it to enable automation. Cloud provides potential the scalability that you require. And to succeed, you must absolutely have a clear strategy. Small steps, work your way through it to get it where you need to be. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to close my presentation there and wish you a very good conference.